Where is he? Concentrate on the job. Don't disturb the doctor.
Yeah. Word up. Who said we ain't the definition of exclusive shit? Real rap, you know? Yeah. This is multi-expensive rap here, brother. Word up.
Well, that was a pretty rowdy show. How do you feel?
I love it. I love it rowdy. I love it full of energy. The climax was met. The production, it sounded good. The music, the people. That's what it's all about when you come to different cities. You know, you want to turn it out. You know, that was my mission to destroy.
You've been touring across Canada a bit. What's stuck out in your mind? What cities do you like?
You mean far in Canada? Mm-hmm. All of them. All of them. All of them have their swings on how they do it, you know. Like, one thing I could say is, like, I've been doing clubs and I've been doing, like, smaller venues. And I think that's my history is, like, we came from doing small venues as well as big venues. But a lot of them was, like, pubs. And they came and a lot of people showed up and the energy was hot. So I'm just saying everywhere I went so far is, like, A+.
I want to talk a little bit about your newest album. It's the very definition of long-awaited and critically acclaimed. You got all sorts of production on there, Riza, Dilla, Dre. Well, what's your favorite song on the album?
I don't really have a particular favorite because it's like when I make it as a whole. You know, I have mood swings with certain joints, though. You know, today might be Catalina, tomorrow may be Have Mercy. It varies, but I never look at my records as one is the favorite. I feel like if one is only the favorite, then why all of them shouldn't be the favorite. So that's how I try to, like, make it. I don't judge them as one.
There was a bit of a gap between Only Built for Cuban Linx Part 1 and 2. How do you feel that those two albums connect? And what was the process of going from one to the other?
I mean, you know, when we did the first one, it was back in early 94, young 95. You know, I was growing up. You know, we introduced the style of hip-hop, mafioso rap, where this is the stuff I was doing in the streets. So for me to really go back down memory lane, it's just like really remembering what MCing is all about to us, you know. I thought I started to think the industry was like taking me away from my roots, and by coming back to doing Only Built for Cuban Linx Part 2, it kind of it forced me to go back to what people want to hear me by, you know. So, you know, we had to make it, you know, and it was easy because, like I said, I'm an author of words and storytelling, things like that, and just wanted to give y'all a great album, you know, with that vibe. You know, we could never say we did this back in the days and make an identical picture. I couldn't make an identical picture, but I wanted to make y'all feel the vibe of where the album was going from back then. And we did a successful job, and the people love it. You know what I mean? People kept me grounded.
I want to talk a little bit about your peers in the WuTang Clan. It seems that music can't contain the creative outlets that the WuTang Clan needs. Right. You know, there's movies, there's books, there's all sorts of stuff. What do you find other than music? Where have your creative outlets been?
Basically, in just, you know, helping people reach their goals as well. You know what I mean? It ain't just particularly one thing. You know, like my crew, Ice H2O. Everybody has their own division where they good at. You know, some might be good with computers and, you know, dealing with that stuff. You know, publicity, publications type stuff. But I just want to just be around people and help motivate them to be better people, be successful as well. You know, it's a lot of MCs out there that I still want to work with, and it's a lot of people I want to put on into the game and give them a shot the same way I got a shot. So, you know, we just going to just make sure that we give back in our own little way, through the knowledge, through the labor, through the work. If we could help another person, you know, take his business more serious, then hey, I would love to do business with that person if they ready to take it serious like that. So it's about growth and development all the time with me. You know what I mean? It ain't one particular thing that I'm just trying to do. I just want to. My job is to civilize the uncivilized.
There's a lot of Eastern philosophy that's brought into WuTang tracks. And you got some books coming out, right? Like Riza's working on like Tao of Wu and all that sort of thing. Do you have a hand in any of that sort of thing? Like, how into the philosophical and religious aspect of it are you?
I mean, you know, Riza's more into the philosophy side. You know, I'm more just a musical dude. You know, I come in where I tell a lot of stories and paint a lot of pictures. So of course, you know, we've been working on films and stuff like that. But Riza's more deeply into the Shaolin culture, the Shaolin world, the martial arts, you know, the books on that level, the films that he's making. Me, I'm more of a, you know, I'm more of a versatile artist. I want to get into this and a little bit of that, and you know, just make great music. You know what I mean? Like, I'm only 4 albums up. You know, I've been on about 40 albums with the crew, but I got more work to do. So I'm just staying focused, grounded, and going to deliver more music to y'all.
I heard an album that mixes Beatles loops with Wu-Tang shit. It's called Enter the Magical Mystery Chambers, I believe. Have you heard that?
Nah, I didn't hear that one.
Well, and it kind of got me thinking that Wu-Tang's place in hip-hop is somewhat similar to the Beatles' place in rock and roll. Really pioneers, and you know, anyone who likes hip-hop likes Wu-Tang, and everyone likes the Beatles. Which Beatle would you be, do you think?
Oh, Paul is my man off top, you know. Paul was always, we always looked at Paul like one of the black Beatles, you know what I mean? Like, it was just something about him that got accepted, you know what I mean? Because he had soul at the same time, too, of making great music. Like, I'm a big Beatles fan, you know what I mean? You know, and we call ourselves the Black Beatles anyway, Wu-Tang. So I would definitely say Paul, he's more grounded, more versatile with the music as well. You know, he got joints with Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, you know what I mean? Fly shit that, like, people slept on, but we love it, though. We love his style for that, though, so, you know.
I guess the last thing I want to talk to you about is, I mean, the symbol of Wu, right? It's a cultural symbol. It's a symbol of the hands. How do you feel the symbol of Wu exists in society and in hip-hop culture? And what's the new Wu, then?
The new Wu is the new and improved Wu, the new and improved Raekwon. Like, we've been here for a long time, so obviously we got better, you know what I mean? We still have differences as far as opinions is concerned and communication problems and, you know, shit that come with the territory of being brothers. But the new is you know, we back where we need to be at. I know for me I am. You know, as long as I think about I've been in the business, I still think that I'm still a new artist again. So I got a lot to express and a lot to talk about. But it's just all about being new and improved, all about rebuilding yourself. Just when you think you was down, you know, you get opportunity, you pull yourself back up, you wash your face, you get back out there and you go be the best that you could be. So when you see the W, you know what I mean, the W is always going to stand up as our flag, but sometimes our flag might be dirty, sometimes our flag might be crispy clean, you know, where that's how we feel mentally. You know, for me, once the album came out, Only Built for Cuban Linx, you know, a lot of people respected it. You know, I felt good about it, and that's what I wanted to accomplish, was for other people to say, yo, you did a good job. And that's making me feel new and improved, like, yo, I got a spirit that came in me from out of nowhere and said, yo, you could get it again. And that's what we did. We went out there and worked hard. Everybody from the clan got on the record. They did their part. You know, they came very strong, like I thought they would. And it's just about keeping the legacy alive. That W is here like the Nike symbol. You know, it's going to always be remembered in hip-hop forever. So we already showed the world we could be legends. Now let's show them we still can make great, solid albums. Solid ones, not 2 or 3 records and then you get turned off, you know. We want to give you something that you could say, you know, is diversity, is dealing with a lot of, you know, mind-thinking quality music, you know. That's what we're going to give you. Wow, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
No doubt. You know what it is, y'all. Raekwon is set. Peace.